My guest received an Academy Award for his incredible performance in The Deer Hunter. His other films include Next Stop, Greenwich Village, Annie Hall, Brainstorm, The Balaguer Beanfield War. He is working non-stop. He's currently in Cannes right now promoting his new movie called The Comfort of Strangers. Here is Christopher Walken. How are you, Chris?
Hi.
First of all, I got to tell you, one of the great gifts of all time is to see the movie The Deer Hunter. It is a gift for life, and you were incredible in that movie.
Thank you.
Cimino really put together quite an ensemble, and a riveting movie.
Indeed. A classic.
A classic, yeah. You know, reading about you and all the different movies that you've done, you started off as a dancer, and then you said for about 10 years you didn't realize what acting was all about, but somehow you were clued into it.
I started in New York in the musical theater and Broadway and summer stock and things like that. And after a while, I started to get jobs saying lines.
Mm-hmm.
So
which is great for a dancer,
yes,
right?
definitely.
Yeah.
So I made a very gradual transition from being a musical performer to being an actor.
Because when you see somebody like yourself in Deer Hunter, it's always like it's very hard to say, oh, he was a dancer. I mean, because when a role is so believable, you go, it's hard to conceive.
Well, that is a wonderful movie, and there was, you know, as you say, it was put together beautifully.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're lucky to be, you know, perfectly cast.
Yeah. And here you are now. You just arrived here in Cannes. New movie called The Comfort of Strangers. So you haven't even seen the French Riviera yet because you just arrived.
I just got here. I haven't even had some French food.
It's coming up. Garçon. The Comfort of Strangers is a movie that was shot, Nastasia Richardson, Rupert Everett, Helen Mirren, all shot in Venice.
Rome and Venice. Well,
yeah.
the interiors were done at a studio outside of Rome, and the exterior stuff was Venice. The story takes place in Venice.
And you played somewhat of a malevolent, strange character, Robert. Tell us about this.
Well,
English-speaking Venetian.
I'm here to see the movie, and among other things, but I don't know yet.
Your role as Robert is this chap who lives in Venice and approaches this young
Yes,
couple.
he's a Venetian man, well off, and he and his wife meet this English couple on vacation and have an unusual encounter. Mm-hmm. And
it's an interesting encounter that
it's kind of
changes their lives.
It's kind of a children's story for grown-ups.
Yes. Many people have spent time in Rome and also in Venice, and once they leave Venice, they're never quite the same. It's a very rich city with culture and
yes, it's everything.
It's
everything it's cracked up to be. Definitely. The thing about movies is that you move into a place for much longer than you would if you were traveling for pleasure.
Yeah.
And so you get ensconced, you know, for 2 months, sometimes more, and you start going to the same store. You know, you get a favorite for your toothpaste, and you know, you have a favorite restaurant, and you know the streets. You know how to, because Venice, particularly in terms of walking, is not only fascinating but quite tricky. You can get lost very easily. That's anybody who's been there, I think, has experienced that. But the city has a real personality, like a person. It is, you know, beautiful and mysterious.
So what's your favorite Italian restaurant in Venice? Where does one go? Where does Chris Walken go for a great?
It's funny. I had many favorite Italian restaurants. Yeah. In Italy, the food it's fantastic. But the restaurant I ate mostly in Venice was Chinese.
Chinese restaurant.
Very good.
Called what?
Well, they say the Chinese invented spaghetti. I don't know.
They probably did. When you do a movie, and you've done the part, you move on to something else, then you come to a place like the Cannes Film Festival to promote it and talk about it. You sort of have to shift back into that character in that movie. You might have gone on to something else, or
Well, it's 6 months since I, shot anything in the movie, and I've done things since then. And I'll be actually very interested to see Robert again. He's a rather difficult person, I think, and I can't say I was sorry to say goodbye to him. Well, I'll get to see him again tomorrow.
Yeah. You've worked with some great directors. You've worked with Mazursky in Next Stop Greenwich Village, with Woody Allen and Annie Hall, and now with working with Paul Schrader. What's it like, the experience of working in a Schrader movie?
Well, every actor, every director, every element of a movie is always different. It's surprising not only when you're making it, but when you see it. And everybody, when it's a good experience, there are certain common denominators, and one is that the atmosphere is pleasant and spontaneous, and that going to work is fun. And good directors have that in common, and Paul Schrader has it too. And his being a distinguished writer himself, I think that working with the text by Harold Pinter, who I know he has a lot of respect for. I wish Harold was here. I'd love to see him. I think that he had a special affinity for that because of being a writer. So it was a very interesting. And of course, spending 3 months in Rome and Venice
Not bad.
ain't too bad, huh?
Yeah. You said one time, I believe, that if you stayed in dance, you would have become a choreographer. Now that you've been an established
I had
actor,
I had my thoughts on that for a while. Yeah, when I was a kid.
would you ever shift and add directing to?
Yeah. Well,
what you do?
sure. You never know. Directing is a little different. You have to be a bit of a general, I think. You have to. You have to be interested in coordinating other people's lives.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of trouble just keeping an eye on my own.
On the own, yeah. You were born in New York. I take it that.
Yes.
Are you someone who's a diehard New Yorker? I mean, you may travel around the world, but
Yes.
you get back to New York.
I
That's your
am. I
place.
must say. I was born there, and I've always lived there, and it is a very great city.
What makes New York great?
Well, it's all those people packed together. So many different, and being, the embarkation point for America for such a long time. There's such a great variety of people, and as a consequence, also a variety of occupations. It's not everybody in New York seems to do something different.
When you look out here, the French Riviera, you see the boats, the water. What comes to mind?
Well, I want to be out on that boat. You see, I want some French food, and I want to get on that yacht.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold you back. All the best. Great success with your movie.
Thanks.
Comfort of Strangers. Great talking with you. We'll take a short break and come back with much more.